All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see everyone that's on the call this morning. I just wanted to say it's March Madness time. I don't know if you guys are watching any of these basketball games that are going on across the country right now, but it is getting interesting, especially if you're local here in Michigan, and or you're a Penn State fan. We are, I believe we're knocked out. John, correct me wrong. Penn State out of the Big Ten tournament?
I want to say so. I'm not sure.
I believe they are. If they're not, they will be soon because they suck. Our basketball team is no bueno. But I can tell you, I know Michigan State. Hopefully they can pull it through. I think Michigan just fell yesterday in the Big Ten tournament, so sorry about that for all you Michigan fans. But maybe Michigan State can pull it out this year. All right, so it's interesting. I this time of year is always, in my eyes, a very exciting time of year. If you ever seen the movie Wedding Crashers, there's a point in the movie they said, "You know what season it is?" And they're like, "Wedding season." And then you can watch the movie if you want to know what happens next. But this time of year, it's exciting. Obviously, a lot of you guys in our organization is conference time. We got conferences coming up in a few weeks, and I'm going to Orlando next week. Gonna go see a basketball game. The Magic are playing the Bad Boys of Detroit, so gonna see that game on Thursday night. We got some courtside seats, which is pretty cool. And then a week later, we got another conference in Orlando. We're gonna see the U.S. national team qualify for the 2022 Qatar World Cup. So I'm excited about the upcoming trips. But I want to talk to you guys today. For you guys that were on our call yesterday for our offices, I'm going to talk to you about the ladder of reaching success, the ladder of your goals, and how it can help you, and kind of the mindset around it, and also the things that you may go through. I'll tell you, building a career, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, my dad was an engineer, if you're a real estate agent, if you're, I don't know, any career, there's going to be steps that you have to take. There's going to be things that you go through, some great, some not so great. And moving through that ladder and moving towards you want to accomplish is going to happen to everybody. So I came up with a bit of an acronym when it comes to ladder. And again, it starts with taking the first step. The L stands for leadership and learn and loyalty. And when it comes to leadership, when it comes to learning, it's super important to understand how, who you learn from and how you learn. So many people in the world of climbing to their goals surround themselves with the wrong group of people. I know I did when I was young in my career. I hung out with a bunch of my college roommates, people that weren't going places. At least at that time of their life, they were more concerned about, I don't know, playing video games and hanging out and staying up all night than building their career. And I wanted to build my career. I wanted to really get things moving. And so super, super important to learn and to choose your coaches wisely, to choose your leadership wisely. And remember, a lot of people will give you advice. I know I had a lot of people in my family trying to give me advice when I was young in my career. And frankly, not everyone is qualified to give you advice. And always just simple question I'd ask myself is, is this person someone or in a position I want to be in? And if so, I'd encourage you to listen to them. I'd encourage you to be open-minded and listen to their perspective. So the L stands for leadership, learn, loyalty. You're going to have to do things when nobody's watching. I haven't found anyone that's been a successful person in business that just happened to fall on top of pulled in as a CEO. And well, listen, I maybe if their father or mother owned the business and they got pulled in, I know a lot of people that do that or that have done that. Their families actually put them through training before they do that. But the L is for leadership, learn, and loyalty. The A is activity, action, awareness. So as you learn what to do, as you learn from your leadership, as you go through those steps of building yourself up, now you got to take action. And I'll tell you, you are going to mess up a lot. So you're going to have to learn from that activity. You're going to have to learn from making mistakes. I could sit you down and tell you, don't do this. That's only going to have so much weight. Until you do it and until you screw it up, you're going to, sometimes you actually screwing it up is going to be more pain. And I'll tell you, I had a conversation with someone in the last 2 days, and she's a partner of mine, and she was laughing. She's, went through something a couple months back, and she's like, Ken, I know you said, whatever you do, I support you. And I chose this way, and I knew you weren't, that wasn't the way I thought you were going to advise me to, but you never said for me not to. And I was like, yeah, I mean, what do I know? Like, I'll tell you from my experience, I would do this, but I'm not perfect. I'm not like, I don't want to have that owner. It's not my fault. Like, you were choosing, you were making the moves. That's on you. That's not on me. And she just started laughing. She's like, yeah, but looking back, I should have just asked you and followed your guidance. And I said, listen, life is an interesting thing. It has a great way of correcting itself. And I said to her, I said, would you feel the pain and have learned as much as you learned doing this that without going through this? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, good. Well, now you know. So now you can coach. Now you're going to be able to get through it. So remember, the activity is going to come with bumps and bruises. You're going to take actions that are going to work for you. You're going to take actions that are not going to work for you. Either way, it's really, really good. And I am sure as you get into activity, you may have some fear. You may have some things that in your mind that kind of get in your way and you don't have all the confidence around it. And fear, I don't know if you guys know what fear stands for. It's another acronym, but fear is fuck everything and run. Just run. Just get busy. Get working. Right? And again, through that work, through that activity is how you're going to really start advancing your career. Now the D, there's 2 Ds. The D, the first one is do it. Kind of like the old Nike logo. Just do it. Demand excellence from yourself. Demand excellence. When you demand excellence, just know that you may get frustrated. If you have a high level of standards, you have a high level of expectation, you may have a little thing going on in your mind and mess with you. Again, that is awesome. Learning how to control your mind, learning how to mentally get strength, learning how to get through things is vital. Vital, vital, vital to being successful, not just in business, but as a parent, as a partner, as a sibling, in relationships in general. And you gotta, again, another D, you gotta desire, you gotta dream. Because when you have a deep desire to be successful, you gotta dream you want to accomplish. You have this picture in your mind. All these things are vital as you're going through and you're going through the ups and downs of demanding excellence and you're taking action. And the second D is dirt and damn it. Because you're gonna get your ass handed to you sometimes and you're gonna eat dirt. And you're gonna decide to keep going. I know I did when I ate dirt. I know I did when I had to rebuild my situation a few years back and in multiple times in my career. And my other thing with the D is I put, damn it, you're better because of it. But it sucks going through it. And I'll tell you, another quote I heard, again, through our deepest pains, our deepest challenges, come our greatest gifts. And you'll have to go through things and build, and no pain to no pleasure, right? And you know, I'll tell you, looking back at my ladder to success, my ladder to growing my career, those times when I got pushed and I ate dirt, it, you know, perspective wise, such small issues nowadays for, you know, how things are. But I remember going through it. I remember sitting in the sauna, my own Zen moments that I have pretty much daily, and just like pretty much just praying that life is going to turn out the way I wanted it to be. And I'll tell you, that created a lot of strength inside of me, and it's helped me become who I am now. And as you keep going and you start making moves, you start accomplishing, as you get past the D's, you're going to get into the excitement. You're going to get into the educational. You're going to get into the empowerment piece. You're going to get into the experiences. And I'll tell you, I love experiences. I love sharing experiences with other people. I remember taking people to their first really nice steak dinner. I remember taking people on their first trip on a plane. I remember taking people out of the country for the first time. Like all these experiences and these times where I can empower people and educate and have a lot of fun with the people I care about. To me, that's like the move. That's a part of being successful, is sharing it with other people, sharing it with the people that, you know, put in the work, and know that, you know, you've been standing side by side with them and bumping elbows, and you know, you've been helping them along. And obviously they did a lot of the work, but you know, you were there to help them through it. And the R, from The Rock, who I met one time in South Florida, is remember where you came from. I met him in South Florida between my junior and senior year of college. It was random, and I pulled him aside. He was working out next to me. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. If you guys don't know who that is, he's the guy. I'm sure everybody does. But this is long before he was the guy. And he just said, Ken, I said, you know, I'm just a young guy. I want to be successful someday. And he said, Ken, just remember where you came from. I remember eating ramen noodles. I remember, you know, having spaghetti with no sauce because I was, you know, trying to make WWF work. I was, you know, Miami football, you know, trying to make the NFL, like all these, you know, challenging stories. But he's like, remember where you came from, recognize those that have helped you along the way, reap the rewards. And whatever that means. And I know in the world that I'm in, the business I'm in, and business a lot of you guys are in, it's passive income, it's overrides, it's consulting fees, it's accomplishing a lot of great things. And, you know, and I'll tell you, looking back on my own career and the things I've accomplished and the things that I've seen my friends accomplish, I realize now that anyone can do it. It was a huge realization for me. Anyone can do the organization that I'm in the industry I'm in. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you went to school. Anyone can do it. And now the interesting thing about that is not everyone's willing to do it. Not everyone's willing to do the work or go through the trials and tribulations to learn what they have to learn to accomplish the things that others have accomplished in our organization. And I'll tell you, it's interesting because the learning and understanding business is, in my opinion, all about learning how supply and demand works, the value of what someone can bring to the marketplace, right? And so someone who provides a ton of value to business, meaning a ton of responsibility, a ton of coaching, a ton of support, they're gonna, you know, and they're in an industry where there's a limited supply. So give an example in the industry we're in, there's a limited supply of management, there's a limited supply of consultants. And so for those kind of go through that ladder of growing their business and their organizations, there's a pretty big payout. There's a pretty big, you know, income when it comes to that, making 6 and 7 figures. And I, you know, looking back on my own path, and people along the way that gave up on themselves or gave up on the business or things that they want to do, you know, it's unfortunate, but part of it is business. And I look at, again, this March Madness time of year, the basketball players, a lot of these kids, how their March Madness goes, there's going to be a couple people that show up and play the basketball they play, the best basketball they played their entire lives. And because of their effort, because of how they show up in this tournament, their value in the NBA draft will increase or decrease. And it's all because of how they show up at the most important time of year when it comes to college basketball. And you know, I was talking to John in the office the other day about I just saw like Chattanooga State. This guy was taking 3-4 seconds left, fade away, jumper, hits it at the buzzer. I mean, that guy's going to remember that for the rest of his life. He just put his college into the NCAA tournament because they had to win the game. And it was just, I think it's just amazing. I love those stories of people that show up when it's most, when it's needed the most. So just remember, climbing the ladder of success, it all starts with taking the first step. And you're going to have to go through these different evolutions to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And I'm going to pivot a little bit. So when it comes to being successful and climbing that ladder, I want to talk about passion. I'm going to talk about passion and what passion means to what you do, and have a burning desire, deep burning desire to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You know, passion, you know, I grew up in a Colombian family, you know, my mom being from South America. I got a chance, you know, a few weeks back, a lot of you that know me, I got a chance to see my family in Utah. I hadn't seen them for 4 years. And the cool part about that whole 7 days or 6 days we spent in Utah snowboarding. Yes, snowboarding was awesome. The snow was great. You know, the boys got a chance to get a little skiing and snowboarding. Mason did snowboarding. Brady did some skiing. But the coolest part for me was hanging out with my uncle and his kids. And my uncle has done really, really well. Fertilizing company, started when he was super young. He actually sold eggs door to door in his early 20s to start his career, actually right before 1920, to gain sales experience. And so, and he knows the business that I'm in. I've obviously been in for a while. And I remember him telling me when I got into this business, being as successful he was. And keep in mind, he has multiple homes, he has maids, he has chauffeurs, he has, you know, 7 or 8 cars at his house. Like it's kind of crazy. Some of you guys that know other countries, but in Colombia, if your license plate is a certain number, so 1 through 9, if it's even, then you can drive that car on certain days of the week because there's so many cars on the road. And if it's an odd number, then you can drive it on the other days of the week. So does that make sense? So if you have a license plate that says 2, you can only drive your car Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the road. You'll get a ticket for driving on the road because there's too many cars, too much congestion. So to get around that, my uncle just bought twice as many cars. And these aren't like, you know, hey, like I don't know, a basic car. I mean, they're like BMWs, Mercedes, Maseratis. Like he has like multiple cars for him and his kids to be able to get to work every day, which is kind of nuts. But the cool part about that trip was talking to my cousins and seeing my uncle, who has done, like I said, super well in business. Every single one of his kids are entrepreneurs, and he's helped set them up financially. He set up the hotel. Now there's going to be a 3rd location they're building. There's one in Bogota. There's one in Barranquilla, and they're looking into a 3rd location. My other cousin, the girls, now run a retail store, a kids retail store. They have purses. My cousin actually went off to Asia and worked with some people that kind of helped build the Prada purses or whatever. And so she got schooled in the industry. And again, my uncle set them up for that. My cousin Tomas is the one that runs the hotel. And he's taken, and actually he's going to be on the Clear channel in a couple weeks. He's, after our trip to Utah, he's taken another month to go snowboard in other places. He just lives a different world, a different life than we do, and I love him. And he's going to be awesome. He's going to come on this, and he's going to talk about some of the things. Like they almost, and I didn't know this, they almost lost the hotel during COVID. You know, the whole world of service changed overnight, which is crazy. but they turn it around and they're doing better than ever. So it's a great story of entrepreneurship. But I'll tell you, passion trumps logic. Passion trumps logic. You know, there's always stories, again, in March Madness time, that there's going to be teams. I know we have a contest going on in our office for sales contest, right? Passion, people who's passionate, people are just working hard, they're excited, they're having fun. They really just want to win a contest. I've actually seen some in the past do so well in a March Madness contest, they actually accidentally got promoted in our business. They're so focused on doing well and selling, doing their thing. In the meantime, they got promoted at the same time. But you'll see it in sports that, you know, you don't have to be the best team. You don't have to be on paper, the best player. But because you're passionate, because you're fired up and you have an emotion towards what you want to accomplish, you have a desire to be successful, it tends to trump logic and it tends to win. And I'll tell you, you need that passion. You need that deep burning desire. And I'll tell you, every morning I remind myself of why I work. You know, when you have kids and you get older, if you're blessed to have those, sometimes they wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes they keep you up all night. And sometimes it just is what it is. Dad gets 3 hours of sleep. It's been happening. It happened once this week. Like, it is what it is. But I take the 5 minutes in the morning, I center myself, and I say things to myself that serve me. I say things like, I'm so happy and grateful now that my yearly income has become my monthly income. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I have a lot of courage. I love serving other people. I constantly take this time in the morning to serve myself and to teach myself and talk to myself in a positive way, especially when the world of being tired and being a parent and other things are going on, right? So learning those things, but having the passion, knowing what you'll want is huge to doing what you have to do day to day. And I'll leave you guys with this. I have a quote that sits across from me on my desk with my whole business on my little wall that I can draw all over. It's an expo wall. It says, business is not about survival. Business is not about survival. Business is about massive success. Business is not about survival. It's about massive success. And in my eyes, you know, again, I'm not the guy that's going to get a job. And, you know, if somebody told me, hey, you can make 60, 70 grand a year doing the job, blah, blah, and 5-10 years, you're going to be able to move into management. It's just not for me. I've realized as I've gotten older that having kids and having families is expensive. And anyone that makes less than 6 figures in the world of business, they live paycheck to paycheck and they're always falling behind. They're constantly trying to catch up when it comes to taking care of their families. And, you know, I decided in my early 20s, I did not want that life. And while I had the energy, the time, and the, you know, lack of experience, I was willing to learn business and set myself up. And so when I'm in my 30s and 40s, I can have more choices. And I will tell you, when you own homes, and I'll tell you the last thing I'll leave you with, when you own a home or you own property, sometimes things go wrong. So on Wednesday of this week, the hot water turned off. Random, you know, I got a close to a 4,000 square foot house. It's got, you know, 5 bedrooms, whatever. And we need hot water, especially my wife does when she wants to take her baths. So she wasn't very happy. And so I went downstairs, being the handyman that I am, and I turned on the little, I don't know, the fire starter thing in the hot water tank. I forget the thing's called. Goes to show you how much I know about handiness. And then, you know, it popped on for about an hour and went down again. It was out again. I'm like, what the fuck? So I called the company that services it. And this guy that comes out, I will tell you, when I tell you about sales, he comes in, does an analysis of the hot water heater. And by the way, he got frustrated that he had to move my kids' toys to the side to look at the water heater. No joke. I'm sitting in my basement and sitting on my table, and I hear him go, oh, gosh, as he's moving things around to get to the water heater. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy, right? And he goes through it and does his thing, and he's like, oh yeah, this is, and I don't even know he knew I could hear him. And then he comes out and he sits down and he goes, yep, got to replace it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. I was like, how much is it gonna cost? Oh, $1,800 for labor and the water heater, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool, I appreciate that. And then kind of asked him a few questions. And he goes, so you like a soccer guy or something? And he had this like smirk on his face. And I was like, yeah, something. And I was like, made me feel awkward, like how weird he was being. And I said, hey, if you could just leave me a quote, that'd be great, blah, blah. My wife and I are gonna talk about it. He goes, oh, you don't want to do it today? And I was like, yeah, I can call my friend. We can probably do it later today and bring him over. And he called the girl on the phone. And I was like, no, I'm good. Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming out today. We're gonna think about it. He goes, yeah, you might want to do it soon. That thing blows. You're gonna be in trouble. Cool, no problem. Thanks. And he left. And I said something to Sarah. Obviously, he's getting upstairs. My wife. I said, Sarah, I was like, hey, Sarah, was that guy just kind of interesting, or is it me? She goes, yeah, he was an asshole. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I totally thought that was the case too. So he leaves and she goes, can you call another company, blah, blah. Another company comes out 2 hours later. The guy was the nicest guy, took time to explain what was going on, took the time to answer our questions. He goes, oh, do you guys have kids? Oh, that's so cool. Me too. Built a relationship with us. He gives us a quote for $500 more, right? And then he goes through and explains the type of tank we have, and he explains the size of it, and he showed us on the tank how we find out the features of it or whatever, and where we can go. And he said, he goes, it's going to be $2,200. And I said, okay, cool. Well, hey, let me talk to my wife. Well, I'm a cow buyer, right? For all you guys cow buyers. Let me talk to my wife, and we'll let you know the scenario. And he leaves. And I said, hey, babe, so what do you think? He goes, she's like, well, we're going to go with the second guy. I was like, it's $500 more. She goes, yeah, the other guy misquoted us. He said we had a 40-gallon tank. This guy showed us it's a 50-gallon tank, and he's not an asshole. And he's going to do it right. And I was like, so funny, isn't it? We're more than willing to pay more with somebody who we like and who took the time to support us and talk to us. He goes, yeah, I swear this happens in the field with our guys sometimes. They just gotta, center themselves and be nice, and I think it all works out. But $2,200 later, it's I don't know how many people in the world can just put down a debit card for a $2,200 expense for their home, but I know not many people. I think some people, and when they called me to get the financing yesterday, and they're coming today to do it, the guy says, yeah, so hey, we just need half up front, and to get it started, we can set up a financing plan for you. And I said, no, I'm good. Here's my debit card. I'm good. And she's like, you want to pay for the whole thing? I'm like, well, you guys gonna do it right? Yeah, no big. I mean, it's all good, right? And so I'll tell you, at times things will happen, and because of the choices I made in my 20s, we can pull the trigger on things like that, and we don't even blink an eye. So I'm just encourage you guys to remember that ladder of success. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be steps. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have to take action. You're going to, eat dirt sometimes. But along the way, just remember, everyone goes through what they go through. And I always say to people, there's no judgment. Thank God nobody judged me when I was learning and growing and making mistakes. And listen, the right people won't judge you when you make your decisions and when you do what you got to do to be successful. So have an amazing week. Happy Friday. No call next week. I'm going to be in Orlando, just so you guys know, having fun with our kickoff conference for our business side of things. But you guys have an awesome week. Thanks for jumping on KLear channel. Share it with your friends. Thanks so much. Peace out. A-Town.